Good morning, Lions fans. We're going to go over the latest Detroit Lions news here and rumors for you folks today. Guess what? Training camp for the rookies just is 2 days away. Lull period is nearly complete. That's why you're going to want to subscribe to the channel for daily updates on training camp, preseason, and of course, as we get to the 2025 regular season. Let's go. Everybody hates the lull period for the NFL season. You know, you like it a little bit because you want to break and just enjoy the summer. But I don't know about you, but you start to fiend for football, and that's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm ready to get this thing going here. We got some Lions news to talk about training camp here. It is training camp sells out. Training camp. So if you don't got tickets to go to training camp right now, your looks to be SOL. And it is completely sold out. And that is crazy. Absolutely crazy. I've been going to training camp for many, many, many years. I can't remember anything like this. If you've ever been to training camp, it's never that busy. But it's going to be really, really busy now. So if you ain't get your tickets, I don't know how you potentially could get it. Maybe there's a waiting list or something, but not looking good to go to training camp right now if you don't have tickets now. There is a scrimmage. I don't know what day the scrimmage is at Ford Field, and that's in training camp. And it's free always to get into scrimmage. There's no way it's going to be completely empty this year because it's at Ford Field. So if you're still fiending for some Detroit Lions before a preseason game, family day and scrimmage is probably available for you to go to. So go ahead and check that out. Are you going to training camp? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Colin Cowherd giving some grief here to Dan Campbell, and kind of shocking because Colin Cowherd's I feel like he's been favorable towards the Detroit Lions. But his top 5 head coaches, Andy Reid, Sean McVay, John Harbaugh, Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, Kyle Shanahan, Matt LaFleur, Kevin Stefanski, Sean McDermott, and DeMeco Ryan's going to notice that there is no Dan Campbell there, and I do think that's incorrect for sure. Dan Campbell should be on that list. But again, it's Colin Cowherd. It's not like it's from players or coaches or people that play the game. I always take those lists more important than any of this. I just disagree with him here. Like, there's some good coaches on there, but 100%. 100% Dan Campbell should be on there. This team is in the image of Dan Campbell. This team fights. This team is well coached, top down. He 110% should be on this list. No doubt. No doubt. I mean, you got DeMeco Ryans, who I really, really like over there from the Houston Texans, but Dan Campbell's had more success now than him. Sean McDermott, yeah, he's a regular season good. What about the postseason? The guy loses all the time. Kevin Stefanski, he's made the Browns better. Okay. Guess what? Dan Campbell took him to the NFC Championship game. Yeah, Matt LaFleur, he is a pretty good coach. Took in their team to many postseasons. Same with Kyle Shanahan. I really like Mike Tomlin, too. Sean Payton's interesting because he was a good coach. Is he still got that, or is he going to be Bill Belichick out of there? I don't know. Just because you're in the past doesn't mean you are now. John Harbaugh, yeah, he's won a lot of games. I don't mind that. Sean McVay, Super Bowl. John Harbaugh's got a Super Bowl. So a lot of Super Bowls on there, but 100% Dan Campbell should be on this list. He is a top 10 coach. Last year, he's almost coach of the year. That brings a lot of weight when you have something like that on there. So a lot of people are liking what Dan Campbell brings. And given the circumstances, too, this guy gets a gutted team. No talent, year 1. Year 2, we start 1-6, 8 out of 10. And then it continues the next year. It's magnificent. Magnificent. and I like it a lot. A lot. So let me know in the comments, where do you have our head coach ranked? I have him top 10 for sure. I thought he should have been coach of the year last year. He'll probably be up there again this year for coach of the year. Definitely a really good coach. Love having him for sure. 5 burning questions facing lines ahead of training camp. And guess what? I haven't even read it. I just seen it. Let's get into here. Will Hendon Hooker claim the backup role? I guess that could be a question for sure, because there is a little bit of question. Will he get it? And I do think he will be. It's like 95% yes. So yeah, I don't mind that being a burning question, because we do got to see how Hendon Hooker plays in the preseason. That's extremely important. He has got to show progress each day in practice, because we need to secure and make sure that this man is the backup quarterback behind Jared Goff, because we're trying to make a Super Bowl. And if there's an injury, you got to have a solid backup right there. So, yeah, I have no problem with that. We got to see what this man can do. We got to see what he can do out there, and I believe he can. He's a good quarterback. Just needs reps. Just needs reps in practice, just like anybody, any young quarterback. And he's going to get that in training camp for sure. He's going to get that in the preseason. He's going to be on the preseason field a lot. So he's going to get those reps, and I do believe he will. Is Jake Bates the real deal? Great question here. This is 100%. I concur. He did great, at Ford Field. But does it continue? Can he still do good in training camp? This is different. It's the NFL. We'll see what he can do. But he's still kicking, right? So we just got to see how he does in training camp. But then more importantly, how he does in preseason. Again, it's a live game. It's live games means more than practice by far. It's more intense and the pressure is higher. This is not UFL where there's maybe a couple thousand people in the stand. We're talking 66,000 people. A lot of people watching. It's a different beast in the NFL via pressure. So that is a good question. Let's see here. Can Jack Campbell emerge as a defensive leader? Ooh, as a defensive leader. Interesting. Are they saying he's a starter? Yeah, I mean, you put it this way. Can he take that role? Is he going to start kind of stepping in that leadership role with the Mike linebacker? Now, I like Alex Anzalone. He's going to be our Mike. But we're talking about, can he start develop the skills, right? Because Alex Anzalone one day will leave. So that's an interesting conversation right there as a defensive leader. So I like that question. Time will tell. What is final secondary alignment? Yeah, I think that's a great question. I believe this is pretty much locked down here. Carlton Davis, Terry Arnold, 1 and 2. We already know that, right? We know who's going to be out in the defense back: Brian Branch, Afutu Melifonwu, Jerry Jacobs, Amik Robertson, but we don't know how Aaron Glenn's kind of utilized these guys. So that'll be cool to watch in training camp, to see who's out there at safety, at nickel corner. Those are more of the question marks. And I agree. We just don't know the alignment. We know it's going to be out there. We just don't know the alignment. See, where does the pass rush production come from? Yeah, it's going to be obviously Aiden Hutchinson, right? He's going to come out there and do that. We don't know opposite of him: Joshua Pascal, Marcus Davenport. We all the names, right? We don't know who's going to be opposite of him. There you go. So I agree with those 5 ones that they had there. Let's get into the next article. I didn't even see this, but I heard about it. It's hilarious. So Republican or Representative John James begins his RNC speech at the RNC by, remember they're in Wisconsin, by goading the crowd by booing the Detroit Lions. Says, "Good evening, Wisconsin. Warmest regards from Detroit, home of the NFC North champion Detroit Lions." Yes. Oh, I love trolling Packer fans, and well-deserved. Thank you so much. Trolling those Packer fans is always a good thing. It puts smiles on our faces, because they have been doing this to us for decades, And they get a little bit of taste of the medicine for the first time ever. This is new to the Packers fans and the Packers themselves. Look, their organization was great for decades. They're still good. But it's finally our time to get a victory. It's our time to do that. And Packer fans, just take it, man. Look, we've been taking it from you guys for decades. You can take 1 year, all right? You can take 1 year. Well, how about a couple years? This team's going to be good. I don't know if we're going to win the NFC North like every year or anything like that, but it's going to be good for many, many years. So expect a lot more of this, just the beginning. So awesome. Jameson Williams has worked hard to improve during the offseason because Jameson Williams called out again before the start of training camp. Every training camp, you hear Jameson Williams get called out. It has become a training camp norm now. This is finally his first training camp where he is good to go. There's no suspension, no injury. He'll be fine, folks. I'm telling you, if you've watched the game, you've seen he gets better and better and better each game. Been saying this since we drafted him. Just be patient with him. And a lot of people are just not patient sometimes. They want players to develop or come out there and be Sam Laporta day one, and that's just not the norm. There's going to be players that develop slower. Jack Campbell developed slower than some of these guys, and that's okay. That's just what happens. Jameson Williams showed a lot in the last 3/4 of the year. He was really starting to come on. I think he will come on and do good and be a good number 2 wide receiver for the Detroit Lions. Now, he's got to do it first, of course, but I'm confident that he will be and do fine. In the upcoming videos, we're dropping videos every single day. Make sure you hit that notification bell. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out the latest Detroit Lions news. With that said, folks, adios.